What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. All right, so I'm going to do some crafting today to give everybody kind of a heads up of how in depth the Crowfall crafting system is. Now, I am on the PTS, and I guess it's a good place to test the crafting, put certain components together, especially when you're coming out with new builds and statting and how you're going to configure things. Now, it's not ideal because getting the components for crafting requires you to have harvesters out in the world harvesting to collect material to craft. There's one catch though. To do that, you have to be in the PvP zone. hence the curveball, right? So there's always a risk while you're harvesting that you could, meet your demise. And that's why it's really good to have harvesting parties, multiple players to harvest larger nodes. And then on top of it, guards. But you could, go ahead and take turns on the nodes, who's looting. And, if you play a fair system, most of the community is very reciprocated or reciprocal. And I think that's a good element. But today I kind of want to get into the crafting. So I'm going to start crafting some plate for my one tune. But I had to do a transfer onto the on Dregs, which is the main PvP server on test, or even in regular live server. But to do that, I need to get on my leather worker, and I do need to craft him up some gear as well. Because guess what? I don't have anything. I had to start all over again. So I'm going to get rare material because I want to try to max it out, kind of get a good idea of what's going on. Now, there's 5 different types of leather that drop off of different types of mobs in Crowfall, and they're in the open world. Of course, you have flexible hide. That's a main component. You have durable hide. That's another main component for different recipes, and then soft hide, and then these are kind of like the fillers. Strong hide can be one of those components for like stitched leather. And I'll go ahead and get into this as I'm crafting today. So my main idea, what I'm going to do is just start crafting stuff, and hopefully I can get my seals done, because I got to create seals to get my crafting level up, so I can also get my legendary belts. I couldn't get it last time. I think that might be a seal problem. So we'll craft up a bunch of seals, and then I'll show you guys the intricacy of this. There's a lot into the crafting system, and I think this is where Crowfall will separate itself from competition. Because in most MMOs, the gear is, earned through PvP or looted in games like Elder Scrolls, and then you configure your build. Your build configuration in Crowfall is, you can loot gear, but it's not as good as crafted gear. Meaning the best gear for most players, majority of players, is going to be crafted. And that's going to go ahead and create what? A player economy. Now, they do have a vendor system that's currently in the game. We're in closed beta still. I hope they start, getting more people into the beta. I think this game is underrated for multiple reasons, and I think the vendor system is going to be okay, but eventually you're going to bump into a major problem, because the top guilds are going to create, this corner market where players aren't going to be able to list that are leveling their crafted wares if they do create something good. So I honestly think more like auction market or an auction house is going to be eventually the way they're going to have to go, especially if the game starts taking off. Why? Because players are going to want to have that experience. It's just the way it is. Now, I'm also going to need to create stitching or thread. And to do this, I'm going to go ahead and need some meat. And of course, I'm going to also need some ethereal. Oh, my boy Mars stops in. I was bragging about this crafting system to him yesterday. So I hope he stops in and checks it out. We'll be crafting for a minute though. So, but yeah, no, this crafting system is definitely out of... I haven't played a crafting system like this since like Vanguard, which is really kind of cool. You know, got to come over here and get some of this stuff. This is ethereal dust, and ethereal dust is a main component in a lot of different type of crafting, especially when you're crafting fuel. And fuel is used in different methods of crafting. So we're going to go to leatherworking. We need fuel, right? We just, you know, described that. So I'm going to need meat, and I'm going to need dust. So I can use the triangle and scale it up. I think 40 is the max you can go without exceeding, of course. Now we go ahead, and now we've got a 200 unit of thread. Now we can go to hide processing. Now I'm going to need leather padding because that's going to be used for plate or mail. It's one of the underlinings. Now I can use any type of material. Any of these materials will, all three of them will create the same recipe, and that's health regen out of combat. So for example, I use that one. We can come over here and it's going to produce the same one. Okay, so you don't have to get so meticulous on, you know, the padding. The stitching is different, and squares are way different when it comes to configuring your recipe. Okay, so we have about 9. Actually, let's go with 4 more or 5 more, because we're going to be crafting up a couple of different things for different tunes. Okay, so we got about 14. That's a good start. I mean, we're fine. Now I can put this in the bank, and why? Because like most MMOs, you know, you can share it. Now the thing about it is that's where this game's kind of get a lot of players, because unless you have alts that can craft these components, right, you're going to have to depend on other players and player vendors to purchase items to do your main crafting. Now, one of the recommendations I would personally make when you start getting into Crowfall is Rune Crafter. Jewelry crafting currently is going to be the hardest one to level due to how you obtain gems, and gems are only obtainable currently through mother loads. Now I do hope they kind of give a lower quality of gems in the regular node system. Only time will tell, and that's going to be one of those harder game end game crafting to acquire, because you need harvesting, and you need to be in like dregs to get the best legendary gems. Now you can do it in infected, but infected only drops up to epic, I believe, and you can level that up and whatever else have you. Another whatever reply, but I honestly think hopefully they put a lower quality for leveling purposes, not for necessarily like gear purposes as much as it's going to be needed for leveling the jewel crafting. Because that's one of those hardest things. You need to obtain material to craft, and you know, gems are a very harder material to obtain. So we got our leather. Now we're going to go ahead and work on some seals. Now, to craft some seals, I'm going to need, of course, the crafting material. I'm going to need ore, and I'm going to need stone. Now, stone is gathered by quarrying, but once again, I'm on PTS, so they give me access to it. But if you're going to obtain this stuff, you're going to need a quarrier and a miner. Those are two of the biggest ones. Now, quarrying also at higher levels will produce minerals for, alchemy. And alchemy can be used in crafting potions for crafters. Currently, there are no health potions or stamina potions or, mana potions. So there is no potions that you can acquire currently in for resource management. Which actually I'm actually cool with it. I mean, you know, I don't feel like if the game doesn't want to go ahead and add a potion system, you know, I'm not going to like say, why don't we have a potion system? Personally, you know, I always feel like some games are too dependent on potions, but in this game, potions are used for increasing your crafting chance and how many points that you can put into your craft. Okay. So I'm going to grab all the blocks and I'm going to explain as I'm walking through. Certain stones will produce different seals for harvesting. Some will produce different stones for crafting seals. And seals are used in when you're making your armor to give it an additional crafting increase. Now, you can, when you're in the PvP zone, you can lose your armor. The chances are rarer, but it can happen. And anything that's in your bag besides like crafting material, of course, can be looted. And that's not just, you know, a player killing you. Like, for example, if a mob kills you and you die, your corpse is there. Some other player sees a dead skull, right? They're going to be like, oh, looky right here. This dude just is dead. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we got 5. Okay, I want to put this over here. I like to keep kind of things a little bit in order. That one's going to go here. And I'll explain why here in a minute. Oh, we're definitely going to need some the dust. Now, dust drop off of creatures, like animals. Or when you're harvesting, you get more ethereal dust while you're harvesting, and you have a chance to also get chaos embers. And chaos embers is a chance to re-roll if you get bad stats on crafting, or they're also used in stonemasonry. So we're going to go ahead and now put our ore over here, and then we'll move our chaos embers and everything over here. I just like I said, like to keep a little organized. We have some ethereal dust, but we'll go ahead and get some more here in a minute. Iron is probably one of the resources for metals that is a very main component, while other ones are very important for different stats. Iron is definitely a main component in a lot of those recipes. Now, do I have everything like down pat? No, I would say there's other content creators who's been playing a little bit longer who can kind of steer you in the right direction when it comes to fine tuning different things when it comes to compendiums and, you know, getting the max stats for the crafting. So crafting is definitely going to be, a good crafter is going to be very sought after in the game. So, because they're not going to make the mistakes like I'm going to make today. I can promise you that. But I do like the fact that it's the player wares that are going to be the most sought after. They are definitely going to be, you know, more prized, and people are going to be a little more, you know, attentive to, you know, how they PvP, because obviously there's a chance that you could lose something of value. And I think that's another thing, like a lot of MMOs don't have these days, is the ability for players to loot said items. Now, currently there is no decon system in the game. I don't know if they're going to change that. There's different rumors in the mill, but once again, they're rumors, and you know, I kind of feel impartial either way, because the gear system does decay in this game. It's not forever. So this gear will eventually decay. And that's the whole idea behind it. Okay, so I do have a rune crafting belt. I have some dust. So we can go ahead and start doing some seals. And so we're going to go ahead and stone process, and we're going to go to specialty seals. Now you're going to see it's going to take non-basic ore. Oh, I forgot to get soul gems. I don't think they're in this one. Those are the regular jewelry crafting gems. I think it's actually in the apothecary. Right here. We'll get about 70 of these bad babies. All right. And those drop off thralls. That's a type of mob in the game. So we're going to kind of go over each one and kind of give you an idea. So I can go with a non-basic ore. We're going to start off with granite. Then we can add copper, and then we go ahead and add the soul, and then this, and then it will see that we created a mining seal, right? It increases my mining capability. So we'll go ahead and make that. But now I'm like, if you go, this one then pretty much dictates the type, the stone dictates what type of seals in conjunction. So this is a mining. Now we go ahead and add the iron, and we should get a different type of mining one, or this is one is lumberjacking. So chopping. So that's for gathering wood. One of them will be for grave digging as well. This is for prospecting. That's for quarrying to get stone. So you're kind of getting the idea. This one is for skinning. And this one should be the necromancy, maybe. Yeah, this is for the grave digging. To get, so you kind of get that. So granite is all of the harvesting elements, pretty much. And another one does the same as more other harvesting, but it has different types of stats. And I'll get into that here. So we see a mining one again. Now I'm going to do a comparison and show you the difference. So you'd be like, well, you got two mining ones, right? Okay. So I just crafted this one. This one gives us a beneficial harvest chance, and that one gives us a beneficial harvest power. This one gives us a critical values. So you see they're different values, okay, in that comparison. It's the same principle going down the line. So all of these will be base values, where the other ones we were crafting were critical values. And once again, this stone dictates that type. Now we can go to the limestone, and then the limestone actually should be some of the crafting, I believe. No, it's still the harvesting. But look, plethora of dust and spots. Okay. And you can't bank everything because every recipe is slightly different. And I hope there is a web page later on that, you know, demonstrates that. So then we'll move on to the travertine. I think that's how you pronounce it. And of course, this is the alchemy seal. Now, alchemy once again is to increase. So if I wanted to make a bunch of alchemy, I know to do that. And of course, we see that one is a chopping one. So it wasn't like, oh, that's limestone is why. Let me try that one again. Okay, jewelry crafting. Okay, once again, that's a very end game. Necromancy is very, very going to be much sought after as well for vessel, and that's for an alternative like statting. Okay, leatherworking. I need 4 of these ones. So basically, we know that one's going to be leatherworking. So we're going to make 3 more because I need 4. So now we have 4. Okay. See, now we have an invalid recipe, right? But, which is fine. Sometimes there's combinations that don't have anything. That's another one. So we move on. And then there's our blacksmithing. Blacksmithing is kind of a generic because they don't have armor smithing or blacksmithing, and I'm going to need quite a bit of these. What is it? 7? I need one more. Oh, my bad. Oh, don't need that one. I'll even get lost. Okay. So now we have 8. So we have now 8, and I will finish out the last ones, just kind of show you guys what's up. Okay, woodworking seal. We're actually going to need a couple of those. Okay, then you have your stonemasonry. Okay, and then you have your rune. Now, rune's going to be an important factor for me as well. So I'm going to actually make 2 more of these ones. And, so we have some blacksmithing and we have rune. Now, I can go ahead and come over here, and actually we'll focus on the blacksmithing at first. I need to make some mail, so we're going to go down to blacksmithing, and we're going to go to advanced armor. Now I already know I need to make mail, so first thing I need to find out is what components. I already made the specialty seal, I already have the ether dust, I have the leather padding, but I need to create metal rings. In order to make metal rings, I go to the ore processing, and it's going to just require ore, but I need coal. Now to make coal, I'm going to need wood. I can just use generic. It doesn't have to be like top end wood. Do not use top end wood for fuels. I just did the other one just as, you know, whatever. But just grab some, you know, common wood, and usually you're going to be good to go on that. And I'm also going to need carbon, and to make carbon, we're going to need, once again, meat to make the carbon. So we'll go over here, and we'll grab some meat, and we'll make up some carbon. Once again, meat drops off of, you know, mobs. Once you skin them, you can get meat, and you have a chance of also obtaining meat by killing them. I'm just going to grab something just to make sure my bag space is filling up. I just want to make sure I have enough, you know, for the components after I craft it. Bag space will fill up quite a bit. So we're going to go to fuel, and you're going to go ahead and see carbon. Once again, it takes a max up to 40. Okay. Now we can add the meat, the ether dust, and then we get a 200 stack of the carbon. The coal, same principle. Now we go ahead and add the wood and the ether dust. And now we have our fuel. Now we can go ahead with the metal plates. Now metal plates are going to be different based on what? The configuration. Now you see that I said iron. Now let's go ahead and grab up some more material, because we'll get into the complex elements of different rings. Stats, and rings are important because those are modifiers depending on each class and the damage type. All right. And I think it's just 10, right? All Okay. So we have different types of configurations for metal. Well, we obviously know that we can use iron. You can't use iron 3 times because if you do that, you'll get this error message, right? So if I try to do that, invalid combo. But I can use it twice, and then I can add like one of the copper combinations. We add the coal, and now we have a bleed damage bonus. So if you're running a bleed build, that would be really good for you. Now we can do the same thing. We can't do it 3 times. We move into the next one, pop that in. Now we see a nature damage bonus. What's that for? Druids. And then we come into the next one. And now we see the poison damage bonus, rogues. Okay. Then the Allurium, right. And then there's the disease damage. Now, we can start coming over here with the copper. And now we have fire damage bonus. Now we already know that's going to be a fire. So we move over one more. We have our ice damage. And then we have our electricity damage. Now we can move over to the next level. Oh. Smashing damage. This should be crushing. Yep, and I need a couple of those ones. Okay. So we're going to make 3 of the crushing. Alright. So you kind of get the idea. Now I have all of my crushing. So now I go back down to my advanced armor. That's advanced weapons. We're going to make a chest mail. So now we're going to add that leather padding. We're going to add our blacksmithing seal. We're going to add our ether dust. And now we're going to add our crushing damage. Now once we go ahead and click, now I have points to distribute. Now I don't have a very high-end grade belt. I do have a high-end grade disc, but that's relatively going to keep everything kind of low end on me. Now this is probably why nothing is currently working, because everything's redded out. So that probably is indicating that everything is on a purple level on this campaign. So we'll switch it out. That's fine. So we'll come over here. Everything has a legendary aspect, but let's go to details. It'll let me know where everything is at as far as the craft. It's probably another reason why I can't craft this high. So blacksmithing is up at an 89. So, you know, technically we should be good to go. Technically. It could fail, but we're not going to risk it. Once you get a higher skill level, you can run up at a higher risk factor. But we're going to go ahead and add a 3 armor rate because we actually want to increase. If you want more armor, obviously you would put more points and allocate that to it. The lower the risk factor, the lower the chance of hitting, you know, higher numbers. So we're going to go ahead and run. Anytime we see a fail, means points will slide down, amazing's up. If we see anything other than that, critical failure would be really bad. We're going to polish it. That'll up the last 3 points. And now we go ahead and craft it up. And now we can back out and equip it. And now we have our unlock of our skills. Now with that said, I should be able to upgrade my belt. that I've been trying. So we're going to go to specialty tools. We're going to go to crafting belt. We have our armor smithing, black, or blacksmithing. No, it's armor smithing. Okay. So we have 3 armor smithings, and then we need our armor smithing runes, 3 each. That's rune. That's rune. That's armor smith. And then we're going to add our ether dust, or I mean our domination dust. And then we're going to go ahead and craft. Up, so you can't do it. We can't do it. Oh, I still have a rune crafting belt on, don't I? No, I have an armor. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, let's craft up some more. Now, I don't need these anymore. So, all of this stuff that I've crafted thus far, guess what I do? I bank it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. We're going to bank anything that we've already crafted. Jack, what's up? Morning, dude. How are you doing? I'm having a very good weekend. I hope you are too, man. How's it going in Aussie? How's it going over there? I hope well. I hope well. It's still summer over there, right? Okay, now I'm going to keep the blacksmithing out, and we'll keep the rune crafting out. Right. I might have banked it, but we'll check it out. I don't need any of the harvesting ones because I don't need to harvest currently in the game. Stonemason can go in there. The leatherworking can go in here. Did I make rune crafting one? I don't think I did. I thought I did. Oh yeah, I did, right there. We'll keep that one out just in case. I split them on this craft, so just a heads up. No, we're having a good time, Jack. I hope you are as well. So the craft, like I said, crafting in this game is very, 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 very much more complex in a lot of ways. Now, when we're going to go back to the blacksmithing and back to the advanced armor, and now I'm going to go ahead and go with the head. Now, here's the difference. I don't need rings. I need metal scales. Those are for defensive purposes. So we go back to the processing. We go to the metal scales. Metal plates are used for plate armor. Scales are used for chainmail. Same principle. Everything is the same. Nothing has changed. So once again, we'll come in here. We already know most of the configurations for the prior setup. So we're going to go with the iron ore, but we need defense. So I need fire defense, right? I'm going to have to get some more ore. So that's going to be this one. So we're going to have a fire resistance, right? It's kind of cool. Let me go grab some more ore here. And this is why harvesting is going to be very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. I can promise you that. Didn't mean to go over, but it's an extra bag space I don't need to be taken up. Like I said, you'll see iron more depleted. We'll just grab okay, so we got one fire scale. Okay, so we're going to need let me go ahead and put in the coal. We need bleed resistance. Bleed resistance is kind of big, so I think I'm actually gonna put a couple, 2 bleeds on there. Okay. Nice nature resistance. Poison resistance. I definitely feel like I need a little bit more poison as well. I don't have a cleanse on this. No. And there's our disease resistance. Now, we already made 3 of these ones. Advanced armor. We're going to go to our mail cough. Once again, we're going to go ahead and put a blacksmithing seal on here. We're going to throw this up. We'll add our disease resistance, our poison resistance, and our bleed resistance, and of course our leather padding. Once again, I kind of go with 3, 4, and then push. I'm not going to go ahead with some of all the higher stats as much as possible. We got 1 failure. If I wanted to re-roll, that would cost me 8 chaos embers. See if I can get a higher stat. We're going to give it a polish. We're going to back it out. And now we have increase towards our blacksmithing. Okay. Now, if I come over here, I can grab the tool for for armor smith. And you have to get the recipe and then craft that, and that will up your stats as well. And let's see if that will let me do the upgrade yet. Specialty tools, crafting belt, let's see. No. Usually you need the, hold on, forbidden to also craft it. That's might have been what I've been missing. So you need 2 forbidden knowledges. Alright. That might have been what I've been missing. Forgot about that. Those drop, as far as I know, those don't drop. Those are NPC items that you purchase. I think. Let's just check it out. Yeah, forbidden knowledge. Oh, mystic. It won't show up until you get it. So let's go with that again. Now, we go with the armor smith, and now we're going to go ahead with the ether dust, or I mean, the domination dust, and it still isn't like loading in. Armor smith, armor smith. Okay. Will the rune crafting one work? Let's find out. Rune. Oh. No. That's armor. Rune. Armor. Armor. Rune. Probably was putting in the wrong ones. That's probably another reason why. Okay. And then the E-dust. And now we have that belt. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do the blacksmithing. Same principle. That's rune. Armor. 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 Armor, 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 and then our E-dust. And it's not working. Armor smithing. Armor smithing. I don't think you can do it on a rune craft table. I'll try it. I'll try anything once. Oh, not anything. Well, you know what? Armor. 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 Forbidden knowledge. And E-dust. See, you need to be at the table that you're doing the upgrade, but... Let me try. Armor. 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 Invalid. Whatever. I don't care. Let's just switch out the belt and go with the purple for now. I don't care. I made the one gold. So, blacksmithing, advanced armor. We have, now we're going to need boots. Once again, we need metal scales. We go to ore processing. We go back down to our metal scales. Now we're going to need a slightly different type. We need elemental resistances. There's our piercing. That's going to be a necessity as well. So didn't mean to craft two, but I made three. Ugh. Ice. Yes. Electric. Crushing. Why did I do that again? Maybe it was this one I didn't do. I'm trying to figure out which one I didn't do. Got crushing again. Oh well. Alright, we got it though. I mean, whatever. Now this one is going to need treated steel. Treated steel, I'm going to need at least 2 plates. And we need the carbon instead. So we come down here now, and now we can add the leather padding again. We can add the treated steel. We can add our scales. So let's go with that fire resistance, and let's go with the I wanted to get the ice resistance. We're going to add another rune crafting one because we got 2 blacksmith. Alright, once again we're going to go 3, 4 all the way. Marginal because I don't have a gold belt. I mean, if it was gold and I had potions, I would go a little higher. Alright. I'm trying to think, what do we got? I don't know if it's going to let me do this or not. I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to need? This is some I mean, it's all armor smith, right? Yeah. Whatever. Last, I'm gonna need hands. So we have the metal scales again. We're gonna add the treated steel. This time we're gonna go with that piercing, and we're gonna go with the slashing. I don't have. Oh, I don't have the slashing. 1 second. You know, and I don't have electricity either, do I? Okay, we got bleed, disease, poison, fire, and ice. You know, I'm going to go with that electricity, actually. Got one failure, might have to do a reroll. We will. Okay. Give it a quick polish. Not the best, but back out. And now we have crafted / protection gear with our crushing damage modifier. Now that we have all of this, we can actually start like making components for the leatherworking. And leatherworking is, once again, we already have that set into place. I'll need to craft the belt for that, and to get the belt for that, you can't get it on any tune. Only a leather worker can obtain its crafting belt type, and I'll show you guys what I mean. But when it comes to ore processing, I know I'm going to need metal buckles. Need ore too. Ore. Once again, you know, one character can't craft all of its gear. It's specialized. And alts can do that, but once again, you need the material and you need to know how to do it. Once I come over here, I'm like, oh man, I gotta craft up some, you know, buckles and stuff. So one buckle per chest, but I'll go ahead and, you know, it's the same process, just, you know, and then it's health regen out of combat. And then later on, I'll need metal rivets as well. So I might as well get those. We'll create about 8 of those. Same principle. Any type of ore, and then coal. And now we have our metal rivets. Okay, so that's going to be for leatherworking. Bars are going to be used for forging weapons. So now we have the 2 blacksmithing components that we're going to need for our leatherworker. Everything else is good, and of course we have the leatherworking seals in here. But I'm going to need a belt too, so you'll see that on my leatherworking seals. Now, when I come out, I can go ahead and switch and then get those belts, and then they'll have to get transferred over here for the upgrade. And that's why I said you definitely want to stay on infected. You can upgrade any belt at any table. Oh, can you? Thank you, Barrett. That's a really good one, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's good info, man. Thank you. I didn't know that. See? That's cool. You'll need other crafters to create the, you know, the components. And that's kind of cool. But I can't get a belt. I can't obtain a belt on my blacksmith. I have to get the belt, you know, on my leatherworker. So I have to log in with my leatherworker, of course, and then get those belts. And the seals, anybody can get those seals. So I mean, if you buy them from another player, you can acquire them that way. But crafting seals or crafting discs, I mean not seals, the crafting disc. You only acquire crafting discs by crafting in that discipline. So I can't loot, not that I'm aware of, leatherworking disc on a blacksmith or loot it out in the world. I have to be on a leather worker working leather to get those discs to upgrade. And that's considerable. That's over 100, about 130 on the, somewhere around there, maybe a little over, to get to your legendary status. The higher your discs are, the better you are at making those items, reducing the risk factor. So, anyways, so I'm going to need a ton, and I mean a ton, of these discs and belts. Oh my gosh. Now the belts, once again, you will buy them from vendors. I will show you guys. It's the same place where I bought the seal at. So those are where you buy crafting belts. And you will need to acquire some gold. Now keep in mind, in infected, no one can loot your, gold farming. If you're farming gold, killing mobs, whatever. They can kill you, but they can't loot you unless you're in dregs. So my recommendation, upgrade to epic status before transferring into dregs. Now if you want the top quality of harvesting materials, you definitely want to be in dregs. You want to be. Why? Because that's where it's risk versus reward in this game, right? You want to get in there to get the better quality. That's what's fueling the PvP incentive. And I know a lot of people play campaign and whatever, but you got to understand, for a lot of players, this is what they like to do alone, is just craft. Some players are just into games for crafting. And I think this game separates that, but they'll still need parties to do what? Harvest those bigger nodes and for running protection. Why? Because players are going to be, guess what? Harvesting as well. So it's going to be a fight over those nodes, right? Those node spawns. So a lot of people are going to, and keep in mind, if you're going to go ahead with your compendiums, you're going to need to kill mobs to get the chance at looting compendiums. And those are crafting components as well. So you're definitely not going to be crafting without one other element of the game. But once again, if you're going to be a top PvPer, what are you going to do? You want player crafted gear. And that the game feeds itself in that essence. And once again, since the gear can be looted, there's a chance of it being looted, you'll always have to, be on standby to replace a piece, or if it decays. So since it's going to decay, and to keep competitive, you always have to replace. Now remember, build configurations are going to change based on what? How you build and how you stack gear. So if you stack for a crit build, you're going to need maybe less crit gear, depending on, your race and your class, your archetype, and how those points are distributed into the talent tree. But you might need some extra crit. But then you might need to do what? Increase other damage modifiers, or increase your stamina or constitution if you want to be a little bit more survivable. There's different ways to do those things depending on how you're, adjusting those stats and the functionality of your build. Just because you might be set up for more support application in a small group, or you might be you need support for a larger. Those stats will make a huge difference. They'll make a huge difference, because healers do what? Healers are going to want to go ahead and take advantage of trying to get their support to as max as possible. Why? Their base healing. So they want that stat boost as high as it can go. It's going to take a minute, man. It's going to take a minute. Mars is probably sleeping in today. So he was asking me about it, and I was like, Mars, man, I'm telling you, dude, this crafting in this game is insanely awesome. It's insanely awesome. And I think that's one of these features that this game has over its competition. It could very well make a huge difference, depending on performance. And I hate to say this, no offense, Bear community. So but Siege is in a lot of games. If I want to siege, if I just want to siege, I'll stay in ESO. If I want to siege, I'll stay in Guild Wars 2. If I want to do guild versus guild, I'll stay in Black Desert. What's pulling me to Crowfall over those games? player crafting. It's not loot. It's the crafting means something in this game, and that's a contributing factor to the PvP. That to me is the nice set difference between those other games. Excuse me. So that to me is what players are yearning, right? Because like I got on my stam sork after my stream, and my stam sork's okay. I mean, it's whatever, but I don't run any toxic setup like I do on my stam blade. My stam blade's toxic. He's been sitting on the shelf for 2 years running the same setup, and I'm just like walking out with 12, 15, 18 kills per match. And I'm like, geez, Matesis, man, I haven't dusted this dude off in 2 years, and I'm still like, why? Because it's toxic. It's so toxic. It's toxic. It's cancer. And that's where ESO gameplay is. You can take somebody with little skill, and I suck on stamp tunes. I'm a mag player most of the time, and the biggest thing is everybody knows my resource management on stamp is awful. Well, not that it's much better in Magicka. I just nuke things faster on Magicka, just because I know how to weave like a motherfucker. But man, I definitely weave up some bullshit. But the biggest thing about it is you don't need skill. Like at that point, I'll be honest, some of that set was carrying me. A little bit. You need a little skill to move in and out and timing, but some of the set configuration was carrying me. Let's be honest. Let's be real about it. Let's be real, and that's where I think the skilled players' frustration lies. Right? It is. I mean, you need a skill to a certain extent. I agree with that, but sometimes sets can carry you. And in this game, I don't feel like that's going to be the case. And that, to me, is the difference. That is the difference. That is those features that players want back to what? Skill-based PvP. Right? That's what we've been wanting. That's what we've been yearning for. We want to get rid of that crap and get back to what? The basics of being a skilled player. Not a dependent player. Being dependent, man, it sucks. That's another thing I don't like about one of the things I don't like about this game is an alliance system. I don't like that. I know. Oh, gross. If I like the guild beat, I like the faction versus faction infected. I like the guild beat versus guild. I don't like guilds sucking up on other guilds, and why? Because it becomes it's just it's just bullshit. It's like, what? You're basically, no guild's going to be able to come in. Let's imagine like 4 or 5 friends want to play Crowfall, right? They started a small guild. Now most of everybody knows they're going to get nuked because there's only 4 or 5. So guess what? They start recruiting, right? Okay. So they get up to about 10, 15 players. But they're still not going to be competitive. There's no way for them to compete. None. Competitive aspect is gone. Why? Because you have this guild over here that's got, 4 or 5 other guilds under its alliance, and there is no competition. That's going to push players away. That's going to push them away, not bring them in. And you can't do that. That's dick sucking. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's cock sucking on the biggest level. So, do you want to bring players in? I think if you want a successful game and you want a robust community, you got to give players a fighting chance. It should be the best guild takes it all. Now, if that guild keeps winning it, so be it. They're the best guild. You can't hate them on that. You can't hate them on that level. If it's going to be a guild versus guild, and it's going to be a campaign versus campaign, chop out the alliances, may the best guild win. Now, if let's say 2 members drop out, right? Could that affect their next campaign cycle? Very well could. It very well could. But that's what's going to be the most impressive aspect. The alliance system to me is just basically keeps the coddling, and it goes back to those elements of Shadowbane and why Shadowbane just kept falling through. Besides the performance of Shadowbane, the idea behind Shadowbane was not bad. But at the time that Shadowbane was released, you had DAOC and you had SWG. Now, even from let's remove SWG, which was my favorite. I did play DAOC, but I like DAOC for one specific reason. One, it didn't have this element of Shadowbane. Its performance was still horrible. Let's get real. DAOC's performance wasn't much better than Shadowbane, but it was better, slightly better. But the faction kept it competitive. It was the faction elements that kept it competitive, not the, these guilds. And, it's like, RVR, even on an RVR system, RVR is going to have what? Something that, is going to have its pros and cons, and everything does. So factions are fine, but alliances are... No, what I'm saying, if it's a guild versus guild, if it's a faction base, it's faction base. It keeps it competitive. You don't know who the numbers are. It's faction versus faction. Alliances is cocksucking. If, I just gave you a scenario. 10 people join a game, man. Are they going to be competitive? No. They're not going to be competitive. And if they're not competitive, are they going to continue to play? No. That's where I'm getting at. If you want a guild versus guild, may the best guild win, not the best alliance. You want competitive PvP. You don't want a PvP that's why Shadowbane never took off. It wasn't the fact that of the game's performance. It wasn't. It was competing against other Siege games that decided to say, no, we're not doing that. We want competitive Siege game. We don't want these politics thrown into it where it's the same guild running it for the year or two. Because players will just quit. That's what I don't want this game to do. I don't want players to quit. I would rather see solo players. I would rather see small guilds. But keep it on the level of being competitive. Keep it being competitive. Once you keep a game in that perspective, you'll do a lot better. And you'll actually be a lot more happier to do it. You want competition. That's what PvP's about. It's competition. It's not cocksucking. Suck our cock. And, maybe we'll throw you the bone next campaign. Maybe. What is that? What is it? Come on. Let's be real about it. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying about it. Because I'm not. We all know I'm not. And that's what I'm trying to say. People can not like my answer, but I've been doing this for a long time. I still remember when Matt and those guys were like, what do you think, Mystic, with Warhammer? I'm like, I think it sucks. You're being an asshole. I might be an asshole, but that's not going to change the fact that it sucks. It's going to fail. No, Mystic, you don't know what you're talking about. Listen, you guys, I'm an alpha tester for a reason. Companies pull me in for a reason. You guys pull me in for reasons. I was going to create my own gaming company. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to help you. Get rid of this garbage. Get rid of it, please. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're just being an asshole. Mystic's ruining our fun and all that shit. It's like, no. It's just like, listen, man, there's other games out there doing it better. It's a very, very fickle market. If you're going to be in an MMO and you want to make profit, man, sometimes you have to, accommodate to the majority. I know it sucks. It sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not even going there on that level to say it doesn't suck. Trust you and me. I'm not saying that. I know it sucks, but it is what it is. For a company to succeed, they got to make money. And to make money, you got to have you know, it's got to be competitive, and it's got to be, you know, accessible. World of Warcraft had the shittiest graphics out of most games. But guess what? They did it intentionally. Why? So players could play it on lower performing systems at the time. It was brilliant. It was ingenious. Out of all the games that were currently out, WoW had the worst graphics out of them all. But yet was the most successful because of the title, because it was Blizzard, and people could access it. People didn't need all these super duper heavy, you know, gaming rigs. You could even, if your laptop could play it, you were going to play that game. Because why? Because everybody else was. It's not that the same thing. What if all the strong players join a single faction? Well, here's the deal, though. That's why I was trying to say the fort system, like the keeps are understandable, right? It takes a while to go ahead. Forts, they need to get rid of the timer. Why? So smaller teams can be competitive. It keeps the larger guild on its toes, right? Without compromising their keep, right? Because keeps are going to earn you the most points. But smaller guilds can be more competitive in those fort caps if you remove the timer. So keep the timer on the keep, right? Because that makes sense, but remove the timer from the forts. So smaller teams can be more competitive. The bigger guilds are a little bit more, cautious about the points and how they're being acquired. It keeps that without, compromising what they've already earned. And I think that's going to be relative. I think the larger guilds that earn those siege battles and those keeps, have a right to defend it. But the forts and stuff, those are ways for players to make up the point difference and to earn those rewards, get notoriety, and expand on their potential. That's where I'm going with that. So I like I said, I see the potential in the game. I obviously do. If I didn't see the potential, I wouldn't be promoting the product. I definitely wouldn't be. I'd be like, no, man, this game's fucking trash, yo. It's trash. I think Todd needs to work on water. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Todd. Calm down. Needs to get water in the game, but overall, though, the game, the crafting and the build configuration and customization makes this game one of the attractive features. It's going to be one of those factors that really does open it up. It gives it the potential, man. It really does. I mean, I've done this for a long time, man. I'm not going to sugarcoat things and say, I guess, whatever. I mean, I did Fable for Microsoft, so it's like, how did I'm like, I did Fable. Shut the fuck up. I tested Fable. Shut up, man. Get off. I've tested for a lot of companies. The only company I haven't tested for was Blizzard. I never tested for Blizzard. That was kind of a pride thing, I think. I was like, I'm tested for Blizzard. Corporate bastards. They'll all play their games. SOE. I was SOE's golden boy there for a while on the test. And then NGE gets out, and me and friggin' John had a big fucking argument about that. The devs laughed, and one of them went over to Cheyenne and then said, "You're Mystic, man. We're working on something." Yo, for real? Shoot it to me, dude. We're gonna go on to some shit. PvP? Not yet, dude. I guess. Fuck it. Whatever. You better get some PvP in there. Yeah, we're working on it, man. It never came to fruition. It had potential, but the funding, man, it just was during the recession. Hard time, man. Hard time. Really good element. Stargate Worlds, man. I thought there was potential there, for sure. Bunch of great developers, man. Artists were really cool too. But like this game has potential. No, it does. Like I said, I wouldn't be speaking highly of it. I wouldn't. I think you guys are a little toxic. You guys would be like, who's toxic? Hey man, I'm an asshole. I'm not toxic, I'm an asshole. There's a difference. I'll admit I'm an asshole all day. Toxic? Nah. Asshole? You know, whatever. Oh, dude, I need more dust. But, yeah, I'm definitely an asshole. I think anybody who meets me is like, I hate Mr. Craven at first. Everybody does. Until they get to know me. And I don't think I'm all that. I don't. I think I'm a decent player. I come out with builds though that sometimes get a little cancerous. I do that, man. I'll break some shit. If I can exploit it or break it, I'll do it. I've got my hand smacked a couple of times where my builds nerfed. ESO love to nerf my shit. They nerf my shit into the ground. Oh yeah, well, fuck you, Mystic. No, man, I just came out with that. Please stop. Don't do that. Oh, man, that wasn't nice. Now I'm going to have to build up something even more toxic. You bastards. They made me do that Templar tank. Ooh, that thing was nasty. I'm like, you guys made me do it. You made me do it. And I'm going to. They did not like that answer. Damn it, I need one more. But, no. Those guys were pissed. I was taking like 50 people in front of a keep. I was like, yeah, you can't kill me. Suck my Johnson. You all suck. Siege is raining on me. Good times. Good times. They made me do it. They made me do it. They came out with something. I'm like, oh yeah? You guys think you're slick? You think you're slick? Oh yeah, I'll show you why you don't come out with that, okay? Because you don't do that to a player like me. I'll warn you. But you're going to do it, so now I'm just going to showboat. I'm going to put this on stream, and we're going to make, just this the most nastiest crap, and you're going to hate me for it. Nerf. Well, we're nerfing this. Yeah. See what you made me do? Do you see what you made me do? Not my fault. You made me do it. Not my fault. I asked it nicely not to let me do it. But you didn't listen. No. Well, I got 3 epics? No. Where's my other rare? Oh, wait. Yeah, I got 3 epics. Epic. Leather. Okay. I don't even know why I even did that. Whatever. Yeah. And I don't know if it'll work. Yes, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We did it. Oh, yeah. Messino. Yeah, no, the crafting in this game is badass. By far, the best since SWG. By far. Hands down. I am very, very happy with the crafting system. Yeah, I'll give it up to you guys. I mean, I know it's not what it was, and I'll give it up to you on that one, Bear. I will, because that crafting looked very intense. The earlier version looked more intense. It definitely looked more intense. Now, if I could get some beta keys and I'll hand them out to a couple people, man, I'll get some PvPers for you guys. We'll get top-notch quality people in here. I promise you that. I know them all from every platform, every game. Trust me. You guys want some Fortnite players? I'll try to get. I'll try to get you some of the top Fortnite players in here. You know, I'll do it. I don't think you guys want them all in here, but yeah. Question of it is, you know, can the community adapt to, you know, trying to get those players, retaining those type of players? Retention's anything in business about one thing, right? The initial sale and retaining. Right? It's easy. It's easier to get the initial sale than retaining the customer. A lot of salesmen, the only thing they think about is the initial sale, right? You know, just sell it, just get it out there. You know, get them to buy it. Well, in MMOs, retention is a very, very, very important aspect, right? You cannot succeed as an MMO company without retention. Just the way it is. I know a lot of people hate me. They're like, oh, don't point out facts to us, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I know, I get it, right? Bad Mystic. Bastard. But, I don't know what to tell people. You know? It is what it is. So. No. Oh. Oh yeah. Ooh, baby, that's what I like. No. The crafting, I'm telling you, Mars, if you catch this video, I hope you pay attention, man. Because this is where this game's at. I keep trying to tell y'all. I'm telling you. Why is this the next biggest MMO? Well, it could be. It could be. Two big things that's going to dictate where this game goes. Right? Server performance. Let's be real. Server performance. Especially in a siege game. You need it. You ain't stepping around it. 2, community, man. They keep that alliance cocksucking thing. This game fails. It toilets. About a year after its release. If it holds out after that, it'll be on life support. With a couple hundred, maybe 2,000-3,000 players playing, you know, actively. Community can fuck a game up because they're unwilling to allow the devs to, because the devs get in this mindset like, these were our initial players and we have to keep them happy or we're going to lose it all. And it's like, you're going to not gain anymore because you're listening to those dumb fucks. Stop. I always tell people, you can't please everybody. You have to find a happy medium. That's where you need to go. Don't please this group. Don't please that group. Find the middle. Where everybody's bitching about something, but everybody continues to want to play it. Why? Because there's nothing better on the market. There's nothing better on the market, and you know it, and now you're like, I know you hate us. That's where ESO is. I know you hate us, but where are you going to go? There is nowhere for you to go. And ESO knows that until now. And it's like, this game could steal players. And yeah, it's got a graphical disadvantage, but at the same time, but at the same time, the lack of its graphics could also draw attention from players who don't have beefy, huge rigs. That's what World of Warcraft did. And we know what happened. The rest is history. And you see players, you know, not playing World of Warcraft. No, motherfuckers. I don't think so. Okay, so same idea. We go to advanced armor. We're like, oh, you know, what do I need? I need hardened squares. Why? Damage modifiers. And we're going to need treated leather for this one. So we're going to go to treated leather. Treated leather. Very more specific, right? We're going to need the tough hide. We're going to need the durable hide. So I'm going to need a couple of them for other recipes. So I might as well go ahead and say, let's go with 7 of these. You'll see that the tough hide is right here. We have our durable. When, of course, our stitching. And now, boom. Right. So we got it. Okay, we need hardened leather squares. Okay, so we could put. I'm trying to remember on this one. I think it's all the same on the hardened. I want to say it is. It's all health. No, it's not. Okay, so we're going to start off with the tough. This is where it's 3. Okay, so kind of important here. So the 3 combinations for this is going to be flexible, strong. Oh, no. Flexible, durable, and soft. And these are other components. So we are going to start off with the flexible. We can use another flexible, and then we can use a durable, and then lace, and then that's going to give us our bleed damage bonus. Same thing, we can go with double, and then come over to the flexible. I actually don't think that one is a combination. It is piercing damage bonus. Okay, so this is my Ranger, so it's all about the piercing. So I need a few of those. So we're going to go ahead with 4. Well, I mean, I have a rogue too, but and then we're going to come in with this, and right here. Okay, so we have our damage modifier. So now we can go with our chest. We've already crafted our buckle, so we're going to put our buckle in. We already have our leather working specialty. We have our treated, and of course we have our damage modifying bonuses, and we're going to add our ether dust, and of course, boom, baby, look at that. Now, I do have a gold, and let me check my discs. Yeah, my discs are good. So we're going to go with critical level. Now, honestly, bugged up. If it bugs up, just come back in. We're going to go with a 3 of 4, all stats, and then we're going to go with a critical risk margin. If you get a potion and a better stats, I would, recommend going with the higher values. Okay, so actually I kind of like that. I won't re-roll, which I didn't even grab any chaos embers, but whatever. We'll go ahead and craft it up. Boom! Oh, looky. We got ourselves a nice little chest here. Yay! Awesome, 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 awesome sauce. Now, let's go get some chaos embers here. Now, the next 3 pieces are going to do what? Mitigations. Swag, what's up? PvP players should retain themselves after getting punched in the mouth. What do you mean? Dude, who's getting punched in the mouth? Are they punching themselves? Is that what they do, Swag? I've been punch kicked. I have a slightly dislocated jaw. I used to be an amateur fighter. I don't know. Maybe I'm punching myself. I don't know. I don't recommend people beat on themselves. Especially if they're at home. Don't beat yourselves, people. Don't beat yourselves up. It's not worth it, trust me. Bad, man! Oh, I suck! Smash, smash, smash! Actually, I did that for Muay Thai training. I used to, take stuff and, kill off nerve endings and stuff. Especially, forearms and knees. But, not fun. I do not recommend it, especially when you get on. Don't do that. Don't hurt yourselves, people. It's not worth it. Don't. Stop. You don't need to go through all of that. Oh, I'm at the blacksmithing tables. Why? Ugh. Alright, so we're going to go with the leather cap. So we need the leather squares, not the hardened squares. Now that's the difference, right? So we went over the hardened. We need the metal rivets. Guess what? We got it. Don't worry, I told you we do it. I told you we do it. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go to leather squares. Now, same principle. There's our bleed resistance. We got our piercing resistance. Really nice. That one's a dead combo. Doesn't take resources though, so don't worry if it messes up. That one doesn't work. I think you can't do 3 either. Let me try. No, I knew of that. Now, we can go with this combo, I believe. No. So let's go with this one. Now that, and then this. I think that's, no. That is a combo. That's the crushing. 2, and then 1 over. Nope. I think Swag Man's got to take some anger management classes. Okay, so I want to say this and this setup works. No. Those two should work. Oh, that's the bleed. Right. Okay. Right, fire. Lice. Electricity. Did I do that one? Oh yeah, let's bleed again. Okay, now we can come over here. We got our crushing. Piercing. Okay. Anyways, there's different combinations. I would recommend other content creators for this element. I'm still getting this one down. All the combinations. Specialty steel, absolutely. We want to go with our hardening, our treated leather. We want to go with our rivets. We want to start putting in our resistance. Usually with something like this, I like to, spread it out as much as possible to get as much effectiveness as possible. I'm definitely going to have to look at more dots. Which one did we put in here? The bleed. So let's go with crushing. Did we get slashing net? No. So I need to do some slashing. I need to get those ones figured out. Anyway, so now we created it. I usually, like, again, I go with a 4. If I want more armor, you can go with it. All stats is definitely a little bit better because of those, mitigating modifiers. Okay, so that's my opinion. I mean, obviously, there might be people. There's a critical failure. That might be a problematic for me. If I wanted to re-roll to try to see if I can get past that critical value, I definitely want to use the embers and try to bypass a critical failure. And now, because I did that, I get a better stat boost. I mean, it could be obviously better, but I'm comfortable with it. Now we're going to go ahead and make it, and boom. And once again, but you're going to need material. And how do you get material? You go out in PvP and you harvest that baby. You harvest it. I noticed Swag doesn't have much to say. I'm glad you guys stop in, though. I mean, I'm glad you guys are here. And by the way, thank you, Bear, for that heads up, dude. I appreciate that. So anyways, I'm going to get off here. But just the crafting in this game, it feeds itself, right? You need one crafter to complement the next. Now, in my opinion, what crafters are the best to get started with if you're going to start Crowfall, especially when it launches? In my opinion, it's going to be definitely Rune and probably your, armor smith or leather worker, like your armor worker. Then obviously you want to get into your necromancy and you want to get into the alchemy. Alchemy feeds the necromancy, but in order to do that, guess what you're going to need? You're going to need harvesters. Harvesters, you're going to want a miner and quarryman, right? And that's going to be very important to also get the minerals, right? To try to increase vessels. You want to also a gravedigger, because gravedigger also needs body parts, right? So you're going to need gravedigger as well. And then, of course, skinning and logging, you can't go wrong with it, especially if you have anybody who uses a bow or a shield, or you can go ahead and buy those components from other players to craft or have them craft. It's going to be a very robust economy, but once again, it's all going to be like, are they going to be able to adapt to the players, or are they still going to adapt to the community? I mean, that's in any MMO, no matter where you go. Like it or lump it, man. I know a lot of people hate things. They don't want to be like, all like every other game, and I'm not suggesting they are, but there are some formulas that work out. Why? Because it's about accessibility, and I just covered that. It's accessibility. But what's the advantage that Crowfall has over its competition? The crafting. Without the crafting, let's be honest here. I'll be dead honest. If it wasn't for this crafting system, this game would fail in its PvP elements. It would. Not because of the classes, not because of the campaign system. Well, it is with the campaign system. It's because other games already have it that are doing it better. Alright? That's a fact. You might not like that answer. I don't give a shit if you do or you don't. I don't care. I'm not here to, feed you bullshit. I've been doing this way too long to sugarcoat any goddamn thing. So I'll be honest with you. What's the key feature to Crowfall? It's the crafting. It's going to be a player-driven PvP game. Those are not existing at the moment. That's its thing. That's where it has an advantage, and it could decimate. It very well could, based just on that. But if they fuck it up, it won't even make it a year. And that, I will promise you. Hey, but don't listen to me. Other game companies haven't. So far, I have a pretty damn good batting average. So, don't take my word for it. Maybe or maybe not. Anyways, guys, Mars, I hope you enjoy it, man. Appreciate it. Check it out. And if you guys, we complain about CF all the time, man. Okay, that's cool stuff, man. I like it. Thank you, Bear. By the way, thank you, dude. Seriously. No, thank you. Thank you for that heads up, dude. I appreciate it, man. That was good looking out, man. Thank you. Much appreciated. And if you have content, if you're a content creator, go check them out, guys. Obviously, I always spread the love. You guys know how I am. Unless they're toxic, if players aren't going to help each other and they're going to be toxic, I'll tell you who to steer from already. I'm not going to out them right now, but if somebody was to ask me, hey, Mystic, because I'm not going to throw names out there. I'm not going to throw clout or anything. But I'll be honest with you guys. There's like 2 players I would avoid. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They've been here for 2 years and they do not know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know if they're associated with you guys, Bear, but there was 2 players I met so far. They're fucking idiots. So, anyways, man. Peace out, guys. Once again, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystic's MMOs. Have a nice day.